I wanted to talk about drawing lines receding into 3D space. So it's really hard sometimes to understand it, but that line I just drew is receding into 3D space. There's a vanishing point somewhere really far away that it's receding towards. So let's draw a plane. It may take me just a moment to do this as I'm ghosting all of my lines. And I just want to make sure I'm doing this accurately. Or somewhat accurate. I don't like that line. I don't like that line either. That line's better, but I want to do it one more time with a lot of ghosting. And if you're not familiar with ghosting, that's when I place 2 points, which I already did here and there. And I try to practice getting in the flow of drawing a line before I draw it. Something that I've been in the habit of doing. Darn. I'm a bit tired. If I wasn't so tired, I'd probably be a lot more accurate. Darn. Really messed up that. Okay, that works. So this line and this line, they're all heading towards like a vanishing point, far out, offer area, and they're receding into 3D space. So you can think of lines like that. There's a lot more. You don't have to make the lines stick to being a straight line. You could also use gestural lines that are like receding into 3D space or just like sitting in 3D space. Now this flower image is by, this is a portion of an image. I'm going to link the full image in the description. The photo was taken by Seth Ausubel. I hope I'm saying his name right. It's just a purple-blue flower. He has the full image on his Flickr. There was another flower in the image, but I just wanted to think of this one. So I'm talking about lines, but you could do curves as well. I mean, I always thought of straight lines as a type of curve. I know that's probably not 100% right, but in my opinion, I feel like there's always some curvy nature to a straight line drawn by a human, because we're not robots. I feel like the only thing that can get a true line straight is like a CNC machine or machinery or robots. So it's kind of like, in my opinion, I think the curviness of a straight line, or trying to draw a straight line by a human, will never be exactly straight. I mean, unless you're using like a roller to constrain your line. I'm going on a tangent. So basically we have a flower here, right? And I'm going to draw just an initial starting ellipse to kind of show, well, I'll make it more oval. Okay, so we have this initial thing. And I wanted to draw a line to kind of summarize the petals. And if you look at this, like, wow, should have been connected more. This part, this area of the shape of the petal is further in 3D space than this portion of the petal. So it's kind of like initially we were going back into 3D space. Then as we draw the shape around, or the petal, we come forward in 3D space. So like if you think of it like that, that's how like you really draw lines in 3D space. Like I don't really think it matters whether you start from behind or in front. Let me give you another quick example of a cylinder, right? So I'm going to draw a line. Now, pretty much I went from forward 3D space to farther out 3D space, and I'm going to orient a ellipse. And I'm going to, that ellipse is like closer to the viewer, and now I'm going to draw another ellipse. It's further away from the viewer. Let me do that one more time. It's further away from the viewer. So let's say I'm going to start here and draw a line to connect the ellipses to make a cylinder. Look, it's connected, right? So I started from further back in 3D space and I came forward in 3D space. But if I wanted to go the other way, like from here to there, I could do that as well. Although personally, when you do draw a lot, you eventually figure out what direction you're most comfortable drawing from. And in my opinion, drawing from upper right towards me to the left is the easiest for me. I also like that because I found that I could see where I'm drawing. A rule that I follow of myself is to always draw where I can see. Like I found drawing from left to right, it could be difficult sometimes because you may obscure what you're drawing, and like your hand, like you can't see it because I'm doing digital, but if I had physical paper, sometimes your hand may get in the way of the point that you're trying to draw to, and that could be a major issue in my opinion. But that's just my personal taste. I mean, that's just how I felt it comfortable. Because I've also been drawing with my shoulder. I try to always draw with my shoulder because you could draw a lot longer using your shoulder compared to your wrist. But, you know, there are some things you wouldn't use your shoulder for drawing. I missed it. So yeah, I'm going to, like this line I drew from forward in 3D space to backward in 3D space. So here, I'm going to start right here. I'm going to draw a line of action for, I'm not sure if it's like a stamen, pistil, something like that. I was drawing this thing right here. I drew an action line, and basically like how I'm seeing this line right here, even though it looks 2D, it's kind of like further in 3D space, and then it's kind of like, once it gets like here, it's closer to the viewer. That's what I'm seeing. It's hard for me to make it out 100%, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. So I hope that kind of helps to do that. I mean, I'll draw another, like I'll try to do the petal here. So the interesting thing here is like, it like ends right there, this petal. It still exists behind there, it's just obscured by that other petal. So you could choose to draw through your form. Because I'm working from an image, I can't see behind the petal, but if I was using a real-life image, perhaps I could. Perhaps it would give me a better understanding of the 3D nature of the thing I'm trying to draw. So I'm going to draw another petal here. And this petal is interesting because it kind of wraps around, it kind of like folds in on itself. Kind of like a ribbon, like you see that? So I think when you do exercises like that, like I suggest finding leaves. I think you could find a lot more curly leaves that kind of like fold in on themselves in some way. Or if you have some type of ribbon material, you could look at that. Because I think it's an interesting game to play by trying to draw things that fold like that, because it kind of ends up forcing you to draw lines in 3D space and kind of learn about what you can't see, and I think it helps you get a lot of practice with that. Like I feel like the nature of lines sitting in 3D space is kind of like an exercise that is rarely touched upon, in my opinion. I'll probably be proven wrong. So I'm going to draw this other petal right here. And basically, this petal is like the closest to us, and it kind of tucks behind that other petal. So it's like, I feel like this petal, probably the majority of it is sitting behind us in 3D space, because this petal is kind of in the front compared to this petal. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm thinking of it. So I hope this kind of helped you learn a little bit about how to draw lines in 3D space and how it sits. If you have a question, please ask in the comments. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like the video, like it. Thanks for sticking around. Bye.